we've spoken a little bit. We've got an interest in that whole how technology is shaping the built environment, how it's shaping engineering, and how we're using in-field, service engineers, and how we sort of like take it to the next level for predictive investment, really.
Yeah.
So that we can best serve our client and say, okay, well, if you've got a building, especially with the new development goals, people talk about sustainability, talking about what happens to the building once it's end of life. How does it become a bank for maybe something else? And then we started talking, and I thought, okay, well, this technology seems to fit where we're at the moment and maybe take us to the next bit. But can you tell me a little bit more really for anyone that's watching this about how you guys started in the field and why your technology is?
Yeah. The company's a Canadian company. We were founded in 2016. Our two co-founders, Ryan Groom, long experience with Microsoft, and a cybersecurity specialist. He was involved with the first sort of testing of the iterations of Microsoft's mixed reality device, and I'll talk a bit about that in a moment. Our other co-founder is a former British military major who'd found himself in the latter part of his military career in Canada, involved a lot in training. It was a serendipitous meeting with those two because Ryan was thinking he had encountered mixed reality and thought, if I can spend the next chapter of my career working within this field, that's what I want to do. Duncan was there thinking, I'm leaving the military after a long career here. I'm fascinated with how technology can be used to train people. And when you think about the sort of people that he was training, they were working in some extreme or remote situations. They might be wet, cold. So it was, how are you able to transfer knowledge to allow somebody to work efficiently, effectively, if they're in that sort of situation? That meeting sparked the idea which formed the company. And to this day, a major part of our client base is still the defence, in particular the Canadian Navy and so forth, who use our software. But mixed reality is the melding of our real and the digital world. You've experienced, I know we've talked about virtual reality, which is quite immersive. Mixed reality blends the two. And what that makes, it's perfect in that sense for allowing somebody to be in a real world situation, but then draw down on digital information or assets to help them complete a task. So we've got very familiar with wearable devices now. Ours runs specifically on the Microsoft HoloLens. This is the HoloLens 2. And it's Microsoft's wearable device for mixed reality. It's a Windows 10 PC, so there's a lot of computational power in there. It's got 64 gigs of storage, 4 gigs of RAM, a 1080 camera, an array of speakers and sensors. It's a spatial computer. When you pop that on your head, as you will do shortly, Rod, the information that we've just talked about is augmented within the visor, and you can see it's completely untethered. So you can work hands-free. And what you'll find with any of these wearable devices is we've got so used to being tethered to a desktop, a laptop, or having to, and that really good tools for certain things. When you're needing to use your hands in the field, work hands-free, this is the sort of device that can really enable that. And it's controlled by using gestural and vocal commands. But what you'll find is it's a Windows system. So any of those menus that we're familiar with, the icons we're familiar with to click through things, you're going to interact with it in that way, but instead of using a mouse click, and this is, I suppose, lesson one, the most important thing I'll tell you today about controlling a mixed device is your left mouse click. So hand out, fingers in out, and you're away. So far left hand corner, there you go. Now, pinch hold of one of the sides. So the software itself runs on that, but it allows a secure connection between an expert like yourself and a field worker or somebody based in the field. So you can connect, talk them through a particular task, or indeed share information that might help them to complete a task so they can work more efficiently, more effectively.
Working through a sequence of steps to show how that particular piece can be removed and put back together.
And how did you get in? What was your intro into this? Where do you come from?
Well, interestingly, I spent the last 10 years at Philips, and I was the latter part of that was really involved in digital transformation projects, and that became more of a sharp focus in the pandemic, whereby how do we connect with people and clients in order to continue operating at least as normally as we can. And that got me thinking far more about technologies which enabled that. And Remote Spark, or Kognitiv Spark, had seen growth through the pandemic, because with people physically grounded, they needed our solution to keep working. So we experienced growth, and that has led them to expand into the UK. So I joined them at the end of last year as we were preparing to launch the technology into the UK and Europe. And it's been, and we're now fairly early on in this journey, and indeed being here at MAC today and being able to sort of come into contact with people that it's going to be useful for, it's just one of the steps on that journey.
Obviously, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to try this piece of equipment. I mean, we had a demo and it sort of blew me away. And from what I explained to our team, it was, they could immediately see how we would use it. And we're always sort of, even though our core is either designing an entrance or changing glass once everyone's gone away. So these beautiful blue chip, high glass buildings that are built, they're always, someone has to go in on the 30th floor and change that one piece of glass that's broken for whatever reason. And sometimes, the guys that are hanging off ropes or in a cradle, they're thinking about safety. There's a lot to take in. So they want the information really quick and they want it succinct, and if there is a change, and as often there is, they need that information to be given to them really quickly. So that's really what we're exploring today, to see how we can, how does this really work? Can I, is it as I imagined, or is there, can we take it forward really quickly?
Well, Ron, that sounds like a perfect opportunity for you to experience it. Yeah, good. Okay, great.
It's incredible how quickly it was easy to navigate this thing, even though you think, like you're getting used to spatial recognition. I've got videos, I've got photos that I've taken, I've got a hologram right in front of me, and yet I'm completely aware. So it's not like I'm confused, completely aware of everything that's where it's placed. And I think we use the Holo Ink as well. So, for instance, in the office, someone could actually bring something to my attention and it'll disappear, so it won't cloud what I'm doing, which is, when you're managing risk, when you're 40 floors up, you're having to make some decisions based on how to construct, how to repair, how to maintain something. This is where O&Ms really need to be interoperable, and I think this is a really good tool to further the interoperability of O&Ms, which are almost non-existent these days. We're making some headway. The BMS is really moving forward in the built environment on new projects, but actually a lot of us who work in repair and maintenance are working on old stock, buildings that are 20, 30 years old, and to be able to visualise this type of information at hand in the workplace is I think, going to be invaluable.